The movie kicks off with Don just chilling by himself, and everything's cool. Then he gets a call. He says to the caller, "Don," and the guy on the other end says, "Come on over, hand me the bag of Coke and grab your cash." Don grabs the bag and heads to the specified location. He walks in and hands his weapon to the guard at the door. And because he's a genius, they take everything he has, even the glasses he's wearing. Don says, "Keep them." Don hands a bag to a man and asks for his money, but he is betrayed. Instead of money, the man's associate, Sonia, raises her gun in his face and the man orders him to put his hands up. Don refuses, sarcastically telling him to say, "Please." The man complies with the sarcastic request and repeats his command, "Please, raise your hands." He raises them, and man, does the boss regret it. He hits the button on his watch, and the glasses the guard is holding turn into a bomb. Boom! It hits Sonia. You think he's gonna let her idiot boss get away? I swear, no way that's happening. He starts beating the crap out of him, just crushes him, and the bomb takes out the rest. And the ones after them follow the ones before them. He finishes all of his men, and that idiot points his gun at him, saying, "You can't escape from me, Don. I'm not like anyone you've ever met." With a swift move, Don spins around him and says, "No, it's not hard to catch Don. It's impossible." The man says, "If you kill me, my men won't leave you alone." Don replies, "I'll leave my address for them outside. I'll be waiting." Then he finishes him. Meanwhile, the police know about all of Don's crimes, but they just can't catch him. Officer Silva tells them, in 1990, the Soviet Union collapsed, so the arms and drug trade on the black market became common. Boris was one of the biggest and most dangerous dealers of illegal goods in the world at the time. A few years later, Boris disappeared. We thought he was dead, but that bastard didn't die. He went to India and started buying huge quantities of drugs. The two men he trusts and relies on the most are Vardhan and Singhania. This is a picture of Singhania, but we don't know anything about Vardhan except his name. It's said that Singhania killed Boris, and he's the one who controls Asia after him. Another officer asks him, "Okay, so is it possible that Singhania killed Vardhan too?" He replies, "Anything's possible, because no one has ever seen this Vardhan, and no one knows him. Not even intelligence agencies have brought back any information on him. Everything you've heard is one thing, and Don is something else entirely. A smart, cunning guy, a formidable fighter. It's hard, no, impossible for anyone to catch him. Yes, but as long as I'm in charge of the case, he won't slip through my fingers." And here he is, Don, finding out that the police know everything about him. He tells his right-hand man, Narang, "Narang, welcome back." He replies, "Thanks, boss." Don asks him, "Did you find out who the traitor who sold me out to the police is?" He answers, "No, I didn't find out, boss." Suddenly, Don hits one of the guards with a ball and takes him out. Narang asks him, "Why did you kill him, boss?" Don replies, "I don't like his shoes. You look at them too, you won't like them either." Narang looks at the shoe and finds a tracking device planted in it. Don says, "The dog was working as a police informant. He's the one who sold us out. Next time you bring in new guys, let them meet me first before you put them among our men." Narang replies, "Consider it done, boss." At that moment, the police arrive at the location of the informant Don killed. Officer Malik arrives at the scene and asks Silva, how did he know that we knew everything about him, even though all the officers who attended the meeting were senior officers from India? Silva replies, "Honestly, I don't know, Chief." Malik looks at Officer Verma, takes him aside and tells him, "I know you suspect Verma because he's still a young guy, and Don might play with his mind, but I trust this young man. He would never do that." He says to him, "Excuse me, do you drink coffee, sir?" Then he smells it and says, "I was just making sure. I trust Verma more than anyone I know, and I'll catch that dog named Don as soon as possible." Silva replies, "Good luck." Meanwhile, Roma goes to her brother's house and says to his wife, "How are you, sweetie? Where's Ramesh?" She answers, "He's inside. He's been scared since yesterday." Roma goes into him and asks, "What's wrong? What's the matter?" He replies, "Yesterday I felt that Don found out I'm working as a spy for the police." His fiancée, Kamini, tells him, "Don't worry, honey. So what if he knows? Tonight you'll go and pack all your things and we'll leave the whole country and get out of here." He says to her, "Deal." And indeed, he goes to get his stuff, and just as he's about to leave, Don surprises him, saying, "My brother Ramesh." isn't it a shame to leave before saying goodbye to your Uncle Don? Ramesh replies, I was just getting my things. I'll be gone for a couple of days, then I'll be back. Don tells him, man, I found out you were betraying me and selling me out to the cops. Ramesh begs him, please forgive me. Don says, of course I forgive you, and I'll even let you live with your fiancée. What's her name? He answers, Kamini. Don says, Kamini, I'll let you live with Kamini. Ramesh asks him, really? Don replies, definitely, but I was sad that you were going to leave without saying goodbye. All right, goodbye, my brother. He shakes his hand and tells him, I feel so bad for the fish. They're about to eat some really nasty meat. Then he injects him in the hand, saying, don't be scared. This is a poison injection that will finish you off in 10 seconds. And sure enough, his body goes numb. Don tells him, Ramesh, whoever leaves Don leaves the whole world behind. Goodbye, my brother. Then throws him in with the fish. The next day, Kamini goes to Officer Silva. He tells her, calm down. She replies, I can't calm down. I want justice for my fiancé. He tells her, we will get you justice for your fiancé. At night, Don is at a party. Kamini puts on a sexy outfit and goes to dance in front of him. He likes her, so he takes her upstairs to a room to light a cigarette for him. He tells her, honestly, I'm thinking about quitting smoking. She replies, I'll make you quit thinking about everything. His phone rings. She tells him, should I get you the phone? He tells her, stay put, this is business. Go inside and put on something even sexier than that. He answers the phone while she goes inside and sees his gun on the bed. She calls Officer Silva. He tells her, damn it, good thing you're still alive. Anyway, should I raid the place? She replies to him, then goes back out to Don. She tells him, you don't have anything inside that I can wear. He replies, I forgot to tell you. She asks him, do you care that much about clothes? He replies, not really. She thinks to herself, just you wait, you scumbag. She closes the laptop so he can't see who's coming and going outside and takes him inside, but the watch he's wearing beeps. He grabs his gun and runs to open the laptop and sees the cop disabling the cameras. He says to her, whoa, so you're one of them. She replies, Ramesh was my fiancé. He says, oh my God, for Ramesh. She says, exactly. Ramesh isn't like anyone else you've killed. His justice won't be in vain. And if you think you're going to escape this time, you're mistaken. He says to her, really? She replies, the police are waiting for you outside. Don't even try to do anything with your gun because it's empty anyway. He looks at the gun and tells her, bravo, you played that well, but you know the gun is empty, while the people waiting outside for you don't. He grabs her, muffles her voice, and walks out with her, telling them, make way, you idiots. Silva tells him, let her go and we'll let you escape. Don replies, you fool, you think I'm going to be like you and believe you? Get out of the way, you idiot. Get out of the way or I'll blow her head off. He calls for the elevator and they call it for him. He gets inside and before the door closes, he shoots her. Silva realizes his gun was empty, runs down the stairs until he reaches the ground floor, but he finds that Don has killed the girl and escaped. Roma is devastated over her brother and his fiancé and decides to get her revenge. She runs and gets in the car with Narang, points a gun at him and says, drive fast. Narang's driver says, the cops are behind us, boss. Narang yells, drive faster. The police arrive at the scene, but Roma takes them out. Narang is impressed by her. At that time, Don is sitting down and storing all the passwords for his accounts and anything related to his work on this disk, and he puts it in this case. Narang enters with Roma. Don asks him, who's this girl? He replies, a fierce one. You'll like her a lot. She killed 4 cops, so I brought her with me. He tells him, leave her and go. Don asks her, why were you running from the police? She says, getting revenge for my sister. He asks her, who killed her? She replies, her husband. His name was Rajiv. They had a fight and he killed her. He asks her, and did you kill him? He gets closer to her and says, you know, I like a lot of things about Narang. She grabs a knife and is about to finish him, but he spins around her and says, why, beautiful? I thought you were just pretty, but you turn out to be a wildcat. Narang comes in and Don tells him, look at what you brought me. She wanted to finish me, but I like her. From today on, you work with us. She's overjoyed. Don takes Narang and tells him, I spoke with Sony. Narang asks him, is he still? Don says, why do I feel like you're not excited about this deal? He replies, I'm worried about you. This whole thing is getting too big for you. Don tells him, this is success. keep this with you. Narang asks him, what's on this disc? Don replies sarcastically, your mom's wedding registry. Focus for a second. This disc has intel on the biggest gangs in the world, the people we work with. When our boss, Singanya, gets back, give it to him. Don leaves him and goes to deliver that deal. He says to the guy who's supposed to receive it, where's the money? The man replies, give me the goods first. Don replies, as you wish, then throws him the bag. But the bag explodes. Those scumbags were working with the police and got what they deserved. Officer Silva chases him. It seems he doesn't know who he's chasing. This is Don. He drags them behind him left and right and suddenly enters a road packed with workers. He goes in but can't get out. They start wailing on him with their weapons, but he gets back at them and escapes. Silva and Verma chase him, but he has already disappeared from the car. Verma looks for him in one direction and Silva is in the other. And sure enough, Silva finds him and raises his gun at him, saying, finally, you son of a bitch. Don replies, if you want to kill me, do it if you're a man. You won't gain anything because you can't prove anything against me. Silva goes back to Verma and says, he escaped. We're not gonna find him. At that time, Don's men are looking for him but can't find any trace of him. Officer Silva goes to the police station and says, 2 months ago, a young man came here with a little boy and said his father and mother had disappeared. What was that young man's name? The policeman answers, Vijay. Silva says, no, the little boy who was with Vijay. The policeman replies, oh, his name is something like Deepu. Silva says, get me his file. He brings the file, and who is Deepu with? With Vijay. The child tells him, where have you been all this time, Vijay? Vijay replies, just Vijay like that? How many times have I told you to call me dad? The child says, are you going to start believing your own hype? I know you're not my dad. Vijay replies, and why are you so angry? Come on, I'm working day and night to get you into the best schools so you can become a great engineer, officer, or doctor. The child says, do me a favor and find my dad. Officer Silva walks in on them and says, how are you, Vijay? Then he asks the child, is this your dad? He answers, no. Silva tells Vijay, come with me. He takes him with him and says, okay, now look and listen to me. You've been with me for 8 hours telling me the story of this criminal named Don. And honestly, I don't know if you're annoyed or sad about Don, or if you just came to vent to me. Bottom line, what's it to me? Silva tells him, take this picture. You'll understand everything. Vijay says, wow, but I don't remember taking a picture in this pose. Silva tells him, is that all you care about? This is someone else, you idiot. Vijay replies, no way, you're kidding. Is this Don? Damn. And what do you want from me? Silva replies, you're going to become Don, and you'll go in among his men and get me all the information I want. Vijay says, all right, you're saying Don knew how to drive anything while I'm still learning how to ride a bike? Silva tells him, I'll teach you everything, and I'll make you a carbon copy of Don. Vijay says, okay, one last request. I'm not afraid of anything, but if anything bad happens to me, this child will be lost. Silva reassures him, don't worry about him. This child is under my protection, and I'll get him into the best schools. Vijay says, may God help me. And Deepu, that little boy, is the son of a very important person. His father is in prison, training hard to get out and take what's his. Let me tell you what happened to him from the beginning. Jasjit, one of the most famous software engineers in the world, lives a life full of happiness with his son Deepu and his wife until a very big businessman named Joshi visits him in his office to program his safe for him. He programs it for him with a password special to him and his fingerprint. He programs the safe and says, there, all set. Joshi replies, perfect, you genius. Jasjit leaves him and goes home, only to find the security guard dead. Suddenly, those thugs hit him and he loses consciousness. He wakes up to find himself in a box. He asks, what do you want from me? He's told, shut up. He asks, who are you? He replies, this is Vardhan. Listen to what I'm about to tell you. Joshi, the one whose safe you programmed, put diamonds worth $9 million in it. You will bring me these diamonds, or else I'll let you go get them. And if you even think about not coming back, your wife is with me. And if you don't bring the diamonds within 2 hours, I will have finished her. Jasjit says, okay, I'll do what you want, but let my wife go. Vardhan replies, bring the diamonds, take your wife, and go. And so, Jasjit prepares a plan, and at night he attacks Joshi's house. He goes in and turns on a dim light to lift Joshi's fingerprint. He lifts it successfully, and of course, he knows the password. He enters it, opens the safe, and takes the diamonds. He goes down and opens the elevator to find who? Silva in all his might, right in his face. Silva tells him, "What a wonderful surprise. Put the bag on the floor and surrender yourself." Jasjit replies, "Believe me, this is beyond my control. There's a guy named Vardan who kidnapped my wife and will kill her if I don't give him these things." Silva replies, "Tell that to the DA." Jasjit pushes him and runs away. Silva chases him yelling freeze, but he doesn't, so he shoots him in the leg. And indeed, he's arrested, and Vardan finishes off his wife. They let him out of prison to say goodbye to his wife, and he remembers her and thinks about his son, who he doesn't know is dead or alive. He's still in prison to this day, and he says to himself, "Just a few more days and I'll be out to drink your blood, Silva." Silva takes Vijay to Don. Vijay says, "Oh hell no, this guy looks exactly like me. My dad died when I was a kid." Silva tells him, "It's possible your mother is the reason." Vijay replies, "How? Never mind, but why didn't you just jail him and end this whole case?" Silva replies, "When you finish your mission and tell me everything about him, I'll hand him over and give you a reward to close the case properly. Come on, follow me." He takes him to the doctor and tells him, "Look, I want the exact same look as Don, with all the scratches on his body and face. I want him to be a carbon copy." The doctor says, "All right, sir," and leaves him. Silva tells Vijay, "Listen, you'll go into his men acting like you have amnesia because of the accident. You'll go in not remembering anything, so they'll tell you everything about Don. Got it?" Vijay replies, "Got it, boss." And sure enough, they take him into the operating room. Silva asks the doctor, "How long until he's ready?" He replies, 2 days at most. Suddenly, the nurse says, "The patient in room number 2 is in very bad condition." They run to room number 2, where who is there? Don. He starts convulsing and dies. Silva is in complete shock and tells them, "Don't you dare let anyone know he's dead. Nobody knows he's dead until we're done with what we're doing." They reply, "Yes, sir." At that time, Jasjit gets out of prison and looks at a picture of his wife and his son, Deepu. Officer Verma is at work when his phone rings. He rushes to a location, opens a tent, and finds Don. Meanwhile, Don's men are in front of a news channel, and the anchor says, "And finally, one of the biggest criminals in Asia, Don, has been arrested. He was found lying down, and doctors say he has amnesia because he was in an accident." Narang tells Roma, "This is your mission. When they transfer him, attack them and take him from them." And indeed, Silva takes him in this ambulance, and they're on their way to the prison hospital. But Roma gets her men ready, and they attack them, holding them at gunpoint. Silva is completely surrendered because the plan is going exactly as he wants. And sure enough, they take the ambulance and drive off. And in the evening, Vijay is standing by the sea. Narang goes to him and says, "Welcome back, Don." Vijay replies, "Who are you? I don't remember anything." He tells him, "I'm Narang, and this is Roma. We all work for Singhania. I wish you would try to remember something." He replies, "I can't." He tells him, "All right, go get some sleep and rest." At that time, Malik goes to Silva and tells him, "What do you mean they took Don from you while you and your men were just standing there like you didn't exist?" Silva doesn't answer him and just leaves. Meanwhile, Narang takes Vijay to his safe and gives him the disc. Vijay asks him, "What's this?" He replies, "You made this disc yourself and gave it to me to keep. It has information about the people we work with, and your account numbers, your passwords, and everything about your life." Vijay takes the disc and calls Silva saying, "I found out almost everything about Don." Silva tells him, "Okay, go to the place I'm about to tell you and I'll raid you there." It was a place Don always went to, and sure enough, Vijay goes there and Roma stands next to him. He touches her hair and says, "You're the only one I could never forget." Suddenly, the police raid them. They get in their cars and Vijay drives, pulling a wild maneuver, going under a truck and escaping them. Roma tells him, "Don, did you get your memory back?" He replies, "It's back." He goes back to the house and tells them, "I am Don and I remember everything about you." Narang tells him, "It's not important that you remember us. What's important is that you remember our enemies." Don replies, "Don doesn't remember trash. You want me to remember Officer Silva, or Ramesh, or Tugo, or Tejay? I killed half of them, and I came back to finish the other half." He leaves them and goes to call Silva, saying, "I have the disc, and tomorrow I'm delivering a drug shipment. After I'm done, come meet me and take the disc from me." He replies, "Deal." He hangs up, grabs a picture of Singhania, and says, "You're a burnt card now, Singhania." Singhania. And sure enough, Vijay goes and takes Roma with him. He finishes the deal, and before Silva arrives, Roma points a gun at him and says, "Freeze, Don." He tells her, "Roma, stop joking." She replies, "I'm not joking. I'm Ramesh's sister." He says, "Ramesh is your brother." She says, "My brother. And I wouldn't be satisfied killing you until I told you why I'm going to kill you. Goodbye, Don." Suddenly, he hits her with the bag. She attacks him, and she's strong, but Vijay anticipates her moves. She kicks him, and he blocks it. She attacks him with a metal wire, and he pulls it from her hand, pounces on her, and tells her, "Calm down and understand." She says, "Understand what? What am I supposed to understand, you criminal? I'm going to kill you, Don." He tells her, "I'm not Don." The truth she doesn't know comes out, and Silva appears and tells her, "Indeed, this isn't Don." He takes her outside and tells her everything that happened. She's overjoyed and says, "Who would believe this isn't Don? I'm so sorry, Vijay." Silva tells him, "Well done, hero. Where's the disc?" Vijay says, "Here's the disc." Silva takes it and opens a bag he brought with him that has a gun in it and is about to finish them both off. But Vijay tells him, "I forgot to tell you something important. Singhania is coming here tomorrow. As soon as he arrives, I'll know his location and I'll send you the address immediately." Silva lowers the gun and tells him, "I'll be waiting for your call." Vijay leaves him and goes to see Deepu. Roma tells him, "You have a really good relationship with this boy. It reminds me of my relationship with my brother." He tells her, "I'm sorry I look like that dog named Don." She tells him, "It's not your fault." In the evening, Silva is sitting at home when there's a knock on the door. He goes to look through the peephole, and suddenly Jasjeet bursts in. Silva tries to get up, but Jasjeet hits him so hard he loses consciousness. He wakes up to find Jasjeet pointing a gun at him, saying, "What, do you remember me, officer?" Silva asks him, "No, who are you?" He replies, "Remember January 9th? Who did you arrest? He had $9 million worth of diamonds." "What? You don't remember? Fine, I'll shoot you in the leg, just like you did to me. Maybe you'll remember something." Silva says, "Okay, I remember you, Jasjeet. What do you want?" Jasjeet replies, "No, I want a lot, a whole lot." Silva tells him, "Listen, believe me, it was out of my hands. I was just doing my job." Jasjeet yells, "Your job? And what about them? Weren't their lives part of your job? My wife who died, and my son who I don't know if he's dead or alive." Silva looks at a picture and says, "Is this boy Deepu your son?" Jasjeet asks him, "Do you know him? Do you know where he is?" He replies, "Definitely, of course. But let me go run an errand, and when I come back, I'll bring him to you." Jasjeet tells him, "You son of a bitch, tell me where he is and I'll go get him." Silva replies, "Shoot all you want. You can't kill me now because I'm the only one who knows where your son is." Jasjeet tells him, "Get out of my face. Finish your errand, bring my son, and come back." Silva picks up the bag with the disc in it, but Jasjeet stops him, saying, "No, leave this bag so you'll come back to me." Silva replies, "I can't." Jasjeet says, "That's my final offer." Meanwhile, Singhania arrives and goes to a party. Vijay sends the address to Silva. That scumbag shows up and follows Singhania into the bathroom. He had put poison in his glass and forces him to drink it. Suddenly, Malik arrives with his forces and raids the place, and he catches Don, not knowing this is Vijay and not Don. Silva gets shot in the shoulder. He runs towards the rest of the gang, and suddenly one of them holds him at gunpoint. Malik arrives. Silva tells him, "Finish him, don't be afraid of him," but he doesn't. And sure enough, they take Silva and leave. But the police shoot at the car, taking out the driver, and the car crashes into an electrical box and explodes with them inside. And just like that, Vijay no longer has any proof that he's Vijay and not Don. Malik asks Verma, "You think this guy isn't Don, right?" Verma replies, "Sir, Don is more cunning than anything. I mean, this could be one of his tricks." Malik says, "All right, bring in Narang, his man." They bring Narang and make him listen to the interrogation. Malik goes into Vijay. Vijay tells him, "I swear on my mother's life I'm not Don, and I've never even seen him, sir. And besides, why don't you believe me? Bring Officer Silva. He's the one who recruited me himself." Malik tells him, "Officer Silva is dead." Vijay says, "Dead? You're screwed, Vijay." He adds, "Okay, I gave him a disc with information on all the gangs Don was working with, and it also has Don's passwords and accounts and everything about him." Malik replies, "Also, Officer Silva never told us anything about what you're saying." Vijay says, "How? You're about to say he wasn't even a police officer? Fine, search his office or his house. You'll definitely find the disc." Malik says, "We'll see." He sends Officer Verma, and they turn the house upside down, but they don't find the bag. The bag had been taken by Jasjeet, so Silva would bring back his son. Anyway, they go back to Vijay again. He tells them, "What do you mean you didn't find the disc? I gave it to him with my own hands." Malik tells him, "Unfortunately, son, there's no evidence to prove your innocence." They put him in a holding cell with his men. Jimmy tells him, "How's it going, Vijay?" And another one says, "We heard everything." Vijay says, "Don't be idiots like him. I just said that to mess with them." They grab him, but Narang pulls them off him. Vijay says, "There you go. Talk some sense into them, Narang." Narang tells him, "You are Vijay, and when we get out of here, we're going to finish you, Don's way." Malik tells Verma, "We don't want to screw up like every other time. We'll transport Don and his men by plane." He replies, "Done." And indeed, the next day they take them all on this plane. On the way, Vijay points at Jimmy and tells him, "I'm gonna slice you up." Jimmy gets mad. Vijay tells everyone, "Excuse me guys, I need to use the restroom." They take him in, and he beats up the two guys standing there, takes a gun from them and says, "Don't move." He's about to close the door, but Jimmy bursts in and starts beating him senseless. Vijay thinks to himself, "I'm dead either way. What do I have to be afraid of?" And he opens the plane door. They fall out, beating each other up, but Vijay spins around him, takes the parachute, and leaves him to fall alone.
He lands with the parachute and goes to Roma. She hugs him and he tells her everything that happened to him. She tells him, "Okay, but why didn't you bring me to testify?" He replies, "No one would believe you, Roma. My only proof of innocence is the disc that Silva had." She tells him, "Don't worry, I'll figure out how to help you." She goes to a guy named Raj and tells him, "I want to buy the disc you're selling." He tells her, "I was offering it to a friend of mine. Wait until I talk to him." Before he can call him, Vardhan calls him and says, "Listen, your son Deepu is with me. If you don't bring the disc to the location I give you, I'll have my men finish him." Jasjeet goes to him, and Vijay goes to Raj and breaks into his house. He tells him, "You want to sell the disc to your friend? Who is this friend of yours? Speak up, or I'll finish you." He tells him, "Okay, I'll tell you. The disc is with Jasjeet, and he's on his way to the criminal with it right now. It seems he kidnapped his son." Vijay tells him, "Give me his address." He gives him the address. Jasjeet goes to meet Vardhan and finds his men. He tells them, "This is child's play. I don't want it. Where's my son?" They don't answer him, so he leaves them and walks away. Vardhan tells him, "I missed you, Jasjeet." Jasjeet replies, "Silva?" He replies, "No, I am Vardhan." Jasjeet is shocked and says, "But I heard you were dead." Vardhan says, "A person who lived his whole life acting for the entire police force, wouldn't he know how to make up a story about his death? And what happened was, that scumbag took him, and before the car could move, he dropped him down this manhole." Jasjeet says, "No, I actually like it." Vardhan replies, "Anytime."
"Now, give me the disc." Jasjeet tells him, "Okay, so you owe me for 3 things. First, when you made me steal the diamonds, you criminal. Second, when you came to me as an officer and arrested me. And third, killing my wife." Vardhan tells him, "You're right, but you can save your son now." He had one of his men point a gun at Deepu. Jasjeet says, "Oh, you son of a bitch." Vardhan replies, "Calm down, give me the disc, take your son, and go." Jasjeet says, "I'll call someone to bring it." He takes out his phone and says, "This is Jasjeet. Bring me the disc and come to the address I'm about to send you." Vardhan tells his men, "All right, until his friend arrives, take them and lock them up inside." They take them, and he tells his right-hand man, after his friend brings the disc, finish all 3 of them. Jasjeet hugs his son and tells him, "I'm sorry, son." He replies, "Don't worry about it, Dad. How are you going to get us out of this mess?" He tells him, "Don't worry." He looks at the air conditioning vent, and indeed, they escape through it. As they're walking, Vijay has arrived. He turns back to look at them and sees Deepu with his father. He keeps walking behind them and pulls out his gun, and suddenly Jasjeet attacks him from behind. Both of them are strong, and in this situation, I don't know who to root for. They're breaking each other's bones. Deepu sees Vijay from below, and he runs to them and says, "Dad, leave him alone. This is my uncle Vijay. He's the one who took care of me while you were in prison." They go back to the house, and Jasjeet says, "Take it, Vijay. This is the disc. This is the proof of your innocence. This is the least I can do for you after what you did for my son." Vijay tells him, "But I need another favor from you." He asks him, "What favor?" He replies, "That you come with me and testify in front of the police that this disc was with Officer Silva, because unfortunately, Officer Silva died." Jasjeet tells him he didn't die. Silva turned out to be alive under a completely different name. Vijay asks him, "Under what name?" He replies, "Under the name Vardhan." Vijay is shocked and says, "Oh, that son of a bitch Vardhan. So he put me in Don's place to get him this disc, get rid of Singhania, and become the king of Asia in his place. And after he got what he wanted, he left me as I am, Don, so the police would arrest me while while he rules the scene alone. What a setup by this scumbag. So smart. Justit asks him, "What are you planning to do?" He replies, "You're going to go and give him this disc." Roma says, "How?" Vijay says, "Just like he says, and Officer Malik will see everything with his own eyes. Call him and get him to come." And indeed, Justit goes to meet him. Vardhan asks him, "Did you bring the disc?" He replies, "It's with me." He tells him, "Go up to this bridge, you'll find me there." He goes up to the bridge and asks, "Where are you?" "Look down and throw the bag." He throws him the bag, and Justit takes it and counts the money, saying, "It's all here, perfect." Vardhan tells him, "So, quick, tell me where the disc is." He replies, "Go up to the second bridge, you'll find the disc in a bag." He goes up but finds the bag empty, and he gets angry. But Vijay shows up and tells him, "Calm down, Vardhan." Vardhan asks him, "What do you want now?" Vijay replies, "I came to ask you the same question." Vardhan replies, "I don't have time for any stupid questions." Vijay tells him, "But I do have time, and I'm going to finish you right now." They raise their guns at each other. Vijay says, "You're careful about your life, Vardhan, but I'm already finished. If the police catch me, they won't believe I'm Vijay, and the least I'll get for all of Don's crimes is the death penalty." Vardhan tells him, "Shame on you. What about me? I'll return the disc and get you out of the country to wherever you want." Vijay tells him, "The disc is with me." Vardhan replies, "Really? Give it to me and I'll fly you out right now, and I'll give you more money than you know how to spend." Vijay tells him, "You want me to trust you again after you betrayed me?" Vardhan replies, "The whole world is about betrayal, you idiot. The thing that made me betray my country and my profession. Do you think I won't betray you, Vijay?" Puts his gun on the ground, and Vijay takes out the disc for him. He gets closer to him, and Malik is watching and hearing everything that's happening. He tells his men this is the signal. He grabs the radio and says, "All forces, move to the bridge." Vijay throws the disc on the ground. Vardhan bends down to pick it up, but Vijay steps on it with his foot. He's about to hit him, but he moves the gun away. That scumbag hits him with rage, and Vijay can't do anything against him. He gathers his strength and attacks him, left and right. "Take this. Come here. This is your last night." He breaks his bones and is about to throw him off the top, but Malik tells him, "No, Vijay, don't you dare throw him, son. We did what we wanted, and you have the proof of your innocence now." Vardhan says, "Kill me, Vijay. Kill me, because if I go to jail, I'll have my men finish you." Malik tells him, "No, Vijay, your record is clean. Don't dirty it with him, son." Vijay calms down, and indeed, he pulls him back up onto the bridge. They put Vijay in the ambulance, and Roma tells him, "Congratulations, Vijay, on your innocence." He replies, "Thanks." Roma tells Vijay, "I love you so much." He replies, "And I love you, my wildcat." The ambulance drives away, and Roma focuses on the words and remembers who called her my wildcat. It's Dawn. She rushes to Malik and tells him, "The one in the ambulance isn't Vijay. The one in the ambulance is Dawn." Yes, my friend, Dawn. Because what happened in the hospital was that Dawn was awake and heard Silva and Vijay. And when they left the room, he took a quick look and saw the door's password. After the doctor finished Vijay's operation, Dawn got up from his bed, went to him, moved Vijay to his bed, and gave him a poison injection in his IV. And he went to Vijay's room and slept. His girlfriend tells him, "You really are a genius, Dawn." He replies, "A clean sweep." She says, "But the problem is the disc." He tells her, "It's a fake. I got rid of everyone with one blow. And finally, I am the king of the illegal goods market in Asia. And always remember, catching Dawn isn't hard. It's impossible." The movie kicks off with Dawn saying, "After I got rid of Vardhan and Singhania, I became the king of the drug trade in Asia. It's been 5 years of me controlling Asia, and honestly, I want to expand. I thought, let's go to Europe. The problem is, Europe has its own giants working there. But hitting them was easy. I entered Europe and dropped the prices. I'm selling cocaine at popcorn prices. But those scumbags all ganged up on me, and Jimmy tells them to chill. Who agrees we should take out Dawn?" They all raise their hands and decide to get rid of Dawn. And sure enough, Dawn goes to deliver a deal in Thailand, and he arrives at the location. He walks in on the gang leader, gives him the bag, and says, "Your stuff all good?" He says, "All good." Dawn tells him, "Give me my money." He looks outside and finds they've taken out the girl who drives for him. He's shocked and tells them, "Really, guys? What's this all about? Now I'll have to drive myself." They pull a gun on him, so he asks, "Who told you to kill me?" He tells him, "Jimmy." "You want anything before you die, Don?" He says, "Yeah, I wanted to know the best restaurant that makes Italian food." He asks him, "Why?" He says, "Because after I finish all of you, I'm gonna go eat there." The guy says, "Waste him, you idiot. You think they can actually take him? Not a chance." He unloads that weapon on them, but they shoot back at him, so he hides behind a table. He comes out firing, and whoever gets hit stays down. That one scumbag is still alive and gives him a little trouble. Giving Don trouble? His death is gonna be hell. The guy comes at him, and with one hit from Don, he's finished. Don throws him onto the speedboat, hits the throttle, and the boat speeds off. But this guy is also still alive and attacks Don. But Don, as usual, uses his brain. He wraps a chain around his neck and hooks it onto this water wheel. And I swear, this is one of the worst ways to die. The narrator says the only uglier death is a cockroach. When a cockroach flips on its back, it can't get upright, so it dies on its back from sheer boredom. The second worst death is that guy's death. Imagine the wheel spinning and he can't stop it and his neck just breaks. Don gives him a salute and the place is about to collapse, but he jumps to the other side at the last second. At that time in Malaysia, at the Interpol HQ, Roma goes to finish her work, and Arjun comes up to her. "Doesn't today ring a bell?" She tells him, "No. Anyway, did you finish your work?" He says, "I'm talking to you about a birthday and you're talking to me about work?" She tells him, "Whose birthday?" "No, you're mistaken. My birthday isn't yet." He tells her, "My birthday." She gets embarrassed, leaves him, and goes to Malik. She tells him, "Sir, your orders?" He tells her, "I wanted to let you be the first to know that I'm retiring." She tells him, "Why, sir? I was hoping we would catch that dog named Don while you were still here." He tells her, "It wasn't meant to be. Come on, walk me downstairs." They go downstairs and suddenly they're both in total shock. They raise their weapons at who? At Don, the devil himself. He tells them, "What's up, guys? Why so angry?" She tells him, "Shut your mouth and put your hands up." He gets down, and Malik, who's interrogating him, says, "Where's the truth, Don?" He tells him, "Look, if you think I came here to play games with you, you're wrong. You want to jail me? Jail me. You want to let me go? Let me go." Roma takes him and says, "How do you like prison, Don?" He tells her, "It's great, because you're in it." She tells him, "Are you trying to hit on me? If you think I loved you, you're wrong." He tells her, "And what about your confession to me before I got in the ambulance?" She tells him, "I didn't know you were Don." He tells her, "All I want is for you to forgive me." She tells him, "I forgive you, because what I always wanted has happened. I put you in prison with my own hands." He goes inside and finds who? He finds Vardan. As he's walking in, Vardan tells him, "Welcome, Don." He goes to the bathroom. Vardan sends one of his guys after him. Don senses him, and as soon as he reaches him, it's one hit, then a second, and he shoves the guy's head in the toilet. He goes out to the guard at the door and tells him, "The toilet inside is clogged. Go clean it, you idiot." And he leaves. Vardan is waiting impatiently for Don's dead body, but Don appears behind him and says, "No, Vardan, you forgot that Don is death-proof." He goes to him and hits him in the chest. He tells him, "Calm down, Vardan. I came to turn a new page with you." He tells him, "A new page? I've been rotting in prison for 5 years because of you." He tells him, "No, because of your ego and greed, baby." He hits him once, then a second time, and he's on the floor. Everyone gathers around them. He tells him, "Vardan, I came here to help you." He tells him, "No, you came here because you're a failure." He turns the gun on him and says, "I'm wanted by every country in the world. If I wanted to turn myself in, I would have turned myself in any other country. I wouldn't have come to this specific country. I came here to break you out." He calms down and lets him go. Vardan goes to him and says, "Tell me, why did you come here, Don?" He says, "I came to break you out." He asks him, "And you're doing this out of the goodness of your heart?" He says, "No, of course not. I'm going to need you with me on a job." He asks, "What is it?" He says, "When we get out of here." "Are you gonna escape with me, or should I go alone?" He says, "Fine, I'm with you." He tells him, "Tomorrow, the kitchen supplies are coming in. The guy dropping off the supplies will point to a specific bag for you. Take it from him. You'll find a can inside. You'll bring it to me. This is a substance we'll need for the plan." The next day, this lawyer comes to him and brings him the bags in the bathroom. The third day, he goes into the bathroom and takes the bags from inside. Fourth day, Vardan goes into the kitchen and empties this substance into the food, and all the prisoners eat except for Don and Vardan. By nightfall, all the prisoners are screaming like women. All hell hell breaks loose and ambulances show up. Don takes out the bags, which have what? They have camouflage clothes. They put them on, melt the cell locks with that substance, and get out amidst the chaos. They take an ambulance and escape from the prison. And all this is thanks to the mind of that killer dude, Don. He takes him to party and tells him, "Finally, I'm gonna tell you what I need you for, Vardan." He tells him, "At your command." He tells him, "At the Russian commercial bank, there was a safety deposit box belonging to Boris. Back then, he gave you one key and gave your partner Singanya the second key. And since you killed Singanya, there's only one copy, which is with you." He asks him, "So what's in this box?" He tells him, "You'll know when we get to it." "Where's the key now?" He tells him, "We'll find it at Zurich Airport." He tells him, "All right, get ready because we're going there." And indeed, they go there, get the key, and go to Russia. They open the vault and take the thing that's in the box. They grab each other and leave. On the way, they take out this picture and he says, "Do you know who this is?" He says, "No." He says, "This is Fabian Kohl, the president of the German Central Bank. He's the only person who stayed in this position for 8 consecutive years. And what nobody knows is that when the election started, he wasn't the top candidate. The one who was supposed to win was this guy, James." He asks, "So why didn't James get the position?" He tells him, "Because he died in an accident." You think that accident was fate? The one who arranged it was Fabian. He hired the biggest criminal to kill James. Now guess who the biggest criminal is? It's your buddy, Singhania. He asks him, "Are you kidding me?" He tells him, "There's no joking in our game." But Fabian didn't know that Singhania was even scummier than him. While they were negotiating, he filmed him agreeing to kill James. He tells him, "And of course, what you took from the box was the video, and you're going to take the video and threaten Fabian with it." He tells him, "Yes and no. I am going to threaten him, but I'm not going to threaten Fabian. I'm going to threaten his deputy, Dewan." He asks him, "And why not threaten Fabian directly?" He says, "Fabian has absolutely no time for us. He might get reckless. But his deputy is also his business manager in crime. If Fabian goes down, he'll drag Dewan down with him." He tells him, "Of course, you're going to threaten them to clear the way for you and rob the bank." He tells him, "Yes and no. We are going to go in and rob the bank, but we're not going to steal money." He asks him, "What, are there bananas in the bank that I don't know about?" He tells him, "No, you wise guy. We're going to steal the plates they use to print their currency." He tells him, "So you want them to give you these plates and tell you, 'Please, Don, don't expose us'?" He tells him, "Not exactly. They'll just clear the way for me, and I'll be the one to go in and rob the bank." The girl with him asks, "Okay, but if you steal these plates, they can just make new ones." He says, "Okay, and the old currency, won't it become worthless just like that?" "No, of course not. They'll need at least 10 or 15 years to change the old currency. In those 10 years, we'll have printed billions." At that time, Malik calls Roma and tells her, "Come to Germany quickly. Intelligence says Don and Vardan are here. Tomorrow there's a party. I need you here ASA." And sure enough, the next day she's at the party in Germany. The devastating killer beast walks in. Who do you think? It's Hrithik Roshan. He goes to Roma and asks her to dance, so she dances with him. And the girl who entered with him goes to dance with Diwan. She puts this phone in his pocket, and Hrithik spins Roma around. She looks, and he's vanished. She gets suspicious and goes to look for him. Hrithik calls Diwan and tells him, "Diwan, there's a video in your pocket. Please watch it and be alone because the video is bad for your health." He hangs up on him. He runs off to see the video. He sees the video and asks him, "Who are you?" He tells him, "You'll know now. Come outside. You'll find me waiting for you in the car." And sure enough, he gets in the car and Hrithik takes off the mask because it's Don, you bastard. He says, "Don." He drives off with him and says, "Are you crazy? What you're asking for is impossible. Do you even know what you're asking for?" He says, "I know. You're not going to do anything. You're just going to get me into the German Central Bank." And suddenly, Roma sees Don in the car, so she speeds after him. Poor girl. She doesn't know the guy she's chasing is nuts. He pulls into this parking garage. She works up her courage and follows him in. He hits her with a car. And here's the first plot hole. The airbag deploys on her, and nothing happens to her. The narrator notes, this airbag comes out at an insane speed, hits the face, and makes it all red. But she got out of the car, and even her makeup wasn't messed up. Anyway, she gets in another car and continues after him. Don exits the garage, and she exits right after him. He reaches his limit, so he pulls a sharp maneuver, makes all the cars on the road crash into each other, blocking the road. He drives onto the other side and tells her, "Huh, you gonna follow again? All right, see ya." And he leaves her and drives off. The next morning, Dewan goes to his boss and tells him everything. He tells him, that scumbag, with the video he has, he could get us into major trouble. He tells him, well, if he takes the plates, we'll also be in bigger trouble. He tells him, then let's get rid of him. Go to Jabbar. He goes to Jabbar, who's holding some guy with broken bones. He comes out to him and says, what do you want? Dewan tells him, I want you to kill Don. Surely you know Don. He tells him, of course I know him, but Don's head has a very high price. He tells him, don't worry, I'll give you what you want. He tells him, I'll take 5 million. He says, isn't that a lot? He says, nothing is too much for Don's head. This is Don, the devil himself. Give me the 5 million, and if you want him minced, I'll bring him to you. He tells him, no, you'll just kill him and bring me a picture of his body. That's all. By nightfall, Vardan goes to Don. You forgot something important. We're going to need a hacker for the security system. He tells him, I've already arranged it with someone, Samir. He tells him, I don't think Samir will agree. That guy is clean. He tells him, we'll see. And sure enough, the next day, Samir goes to Don. At your service, boss. He tells him, sit down, Samir. I wanted you on a job. He asks, what is it? He tells him, we're stealing the printing plates from the German central bank. He says, what? You know I'm not into that stuff, boss. He tells him, I know. And I also know that on your last job, you stole $1.5 million and donated it to charities. He tells him, there's no proof. He says, right, and that's why you haven't done anything wrong for 3 years, because of the wife you married. He tells him, right, I promised her I wouldn't do anything wrong again. He tells him, I found out she's 7 months pregnant. Expenses are piling up. In my opinion, you should do this one job with me and live comfortably so that Don doesn't get mad at you. He gives in and goes to his wife to say goodbye. He says goodbye to the baby and tells her, I'm traveling for 2 weeks. She asks him, where to? He tells her, it's a job that, if I finish it, we'll be set for life. She asks him, a job against the law? He tells her, no, I promised. This is a legal job. She tells him, go and come back safe, my love. At that time, Don calls Dewan. You're late. Are you going to get it done, or should I upload the video to YouTube? He tells him, no, tomorrow all the bank blueprints will be at your place. He hangs up, and Jabbar is next to him. He tells him, give him what he wants. He asks him, are you serious? He tells him, listen, give him fake information, and before he finds out, I'll have already finished him. And sure enough, the next day he goes to meet Don and gives him this hard drive. He says it has all the blueprints you want, the bank's security plans, and the exact location of the plates. He tells him there's something missing. He says, I can't get it for you. He asks, what is it? He tells him, the vault. You need Chandra's fingerprint and voice to open it. He tells him, okay, I'll get to the hotel and call you. He tells him, all right, and where's the video? He tells him, shame on you, you're in the clear. I'll check the information, finish the job, and I'll give you the original video. He leaves. Jabbar and his men follow him. He notices them, enters this tower, they get in the elevator, but they find him far away. He tells them, come down with me now. He goes down this rope behind the tower. They go down and go looking for him by car. With a crane, he lifts their car and drops them in the car crusher. He goes down to them and tells him, how are you, Jabbar? Just because I'm focused on my work doesn't mean I forget my enemies. And sure enough, Vardan was watching Dewan and found out he was in cahoots with Jabbar. And Don, after leaving Dewan, Samir called him and told him, Jabbar is tracking you. Don tells him, listen, Jabbar, I could have killed you, but I'm going to give you an opportunity. See how much Dewan was going to give you? I'll give you 10 times that. I'll let him think about it and get back to me. And he leaves him. Vardan asks him, how are you going to trust Jabbar? He says, well, I'm going to teach him a lesson. I'm going to sacrifice him in the bank so we can escape. He asks him, and how? He says, you'll know. He goes inside and calls Dewan. Yeah, you scumbag. He says, Don? He tells him, of course you're surprised I'm still alive. There's a knock at his door. He tells him, go open the door. He opens, and Don's girl enters. He tells him, give her the information. He goes to get her the hard drives. He tells him, listen, if they turn out to be empty this time, I'll come and fill them with your blood, and then I'll publish the video. He hangs up and the girl arrives. Samir runs them. He says, everything is good. He looks at the blueprint. But boss, I don't mean to discourage you, but the idea of you entering this bank and taking a trash bag is almost impossible. He laughs. He tells him, don't underestimate it. You'll find a metal detector. The whole bank is full of cameras. If you get past those, you'll enter the lobby. You'll find a door with a password. You'll go downstairs and find 2 armed guards trained to kill. If you get past them, you'll enter the printing room. The door to the room with the plates is made of bulletproof steel. Let's say you get past that door, you'll find the vault. If you blow it up, you'll destroy the plates. So you have to open it with a fingerprint and voice. Vardan tells him, this steel door will blow it up. He tells him, if you blow up this steel door, gases will be released that will kill anyone in there. Don asks him, okay, so what's the danger in the vault lobby? He says, I don't know, but there's energy or something. If you blow up the door and don't disable it, anyone who walks in, it will finish them. He asks, like what? He says, I don't know, it's not on the blueprint. He says, when we get there, we'll know. Let's start.
And sure enough, he starts executing his plan. He preps a car similar to the car that picks up money from the bank. And he says, Jabbar, the weapons and explosives, that's all your job. He tells him, got it. He tells Vardan, and your mission is to get me Chandra's fingerprints and record his name. He goes and fakes an Interpol officer's ID. And indeed, he enters the bank. He goes into Chandra. Officer Singh with you. He tells him, I'm Chandra. Vardan records his name and tells him, all right, tell me about the bank security. He tells him, everything's great, sir. He tells him, tomorrow we'll come and continue. He drops this briefcase and makes him hold this cup. He takes the cup to Samir, puts it on the device, and lifts his fingerprints off it. They prep this fire truck and put all their weapons and equipment in it. Jabbar asks him, okay, and after we finish, how are we going to escape? He tells him, there's a back exit. Aisha will be waiting for us there. We'll get in the car with her and leave. He asks him, oh yeah? Is it that easy? He tells him, do you have another solution? He doesn't answer. He tells him, as long as you're an idiot who doesn't have a better idea, then shut your mouth. Jabbar gets upset and leaves. Vardan goes after him. He really embarrassed you, man. That's just how Don is. A traitor can't be trusted. Honestly, he's just taking you on this job as bait. He asks him, what do you mean bait? He tells him, it seems like he's going to sacrifice you to the police and escape the bank himself. He says, that dog, I'm gonna go finish him. He tells him, no, don't be hasty. We need him. Let's finish the job, and before we leave, we'll finish him, take the plates, and frame him. Deal? He says, deal. At that time, Samir calls his wife. She asks him, what's the news on the new job? He tells her, don't worry, honey. She tells him, don't you dare, Samir. Don't be doing something wrong. He tells her, no, I promised. I'm out of that life. And he's extremely sad. The next morning, Roma goes to Malik. The day I chased Don, I noticed that Diwan was with him in the car. He tells her, and what would make the vice president ride with a criminal like Don? Something is wrong. Let's go to him. At that time, Samir enters the bank as a camera security employee. He goes inside, turns on the laptop, and freezes the camera feeds so Don can enter. He enters how and with whom? With Diwan. He's in the trunk of his car, and Diwan goes to distract the guards. Don gets out of the car and enters. And Vardan enters normally, acting as an Interpol officer. At that time, Roma and Malik enter the bank and ask for Vice President Diwan. And Don enters through this vent and drops onto the elevator below. And oh my god, Malik and Roma are coming up in that elevator. They feel the bump, and Don plants these bombs and tells Samir, as soon as I tell you to stop the elevator, stop it. 1, 2, 3, stop it. The elevator stops, Don jumps into this opening, and Samir starts the elevator again. They get off, Malik and Roma go to Diwan, and Roma tells him, excuse me, on the 9th at 8:51 p.m., where were you exactly? He tells her, I don't remember. She tells him, meaning, on the day of the party, you didn't get in the car with Don? He tells her, and what would make me get in a car with a criminal like that? She tells him, okay, excuse me, but can we know where you were? He tells her, I don't remember. You have my business manager, you can ask him. At that time, Jabbar approaches the bank, and suddenly, Don presses his watch and says, boom! The bombs explode, and all hell breaks loose in the bank. In the middle of the chaos, the ambulance enters, which has, who? Jabbar with his armed men. They enter the bank, and anyone who's security, they take them out. People are coming downstairs, so they force them into this room. They rig the bank with bombs and take out the 2 guards standing at the vault door. They lock down the bank and are in complete control of it. Don calls Malik. What's up, boss? He says, what do you want, Don? I don't have time. He says, what? Is the German central bank getting robbed or something? He asks him, and how did you know? Are you the one in the bank? He tells him, give the phone to Roma. Let me talk to her, kid. What's up, baby? I'm gonna make you work. Tell the idiots with you to back up, cause I'm going to blow up the place you're standing on. She tells them, back up. He's going to blow up the place. A German officer tells her he's a liar. She tells him he never lies.
back up. They back up, and sure enough, he presses his watch and blows up the fire truck. Anyway, they're in total shock, and Roma asks him, "What do you want, Don?" He tells her, 10 minutes. I'll take them in the bank and I'll leave. I don't want anyone to make a move so I don't get mad at you. She tells him, fine. He goes to his guys, what's the news? Jabbar says, all good. He tells them, all right, now with the canisters, freeze this door for me. They freeze the steel door and plant bombs on it. They put on these masks because of the gas, and again, Don presses and boom! The door falls down. He tells them, my turn. They go inside, but he doesn't walk on the floor because the floor is electrified. He gets on the ceiling and moves across it. He reaches the vault that has the plates. He puts Chandra's fingerprints and plays his recorded name. He tells Samir, there's a spot for a password here. Get it for me. He tells him, 1 second, I'll get it for you. He gets him the password, he enters it, and sure enough, he opens the door. And finally, he reaches the German currency printing plates, and 2 more as a bonus. Suddenly, this thing falls on the floor. He's shocked. And suddenly, a door appears out of nowhere and is about to close on him. But Don, with the speed of light, gets out. Vardan tells him, you're a genius. You brought the plates. He tells him, you think I'd leave without them? Give me this bag. He gives him the bag and leaves. Don talks to Samir. Do what we agreed on. He says, got it. He goes out after him. Vardan, the scumbag, raises his gun at him. He says, Don, you think I forgot what you did? How could you trust me, Don? Jabbar tells him, you brought me here as bait so you could get out. How are you planning to do that? He says, I'd vanish without a trace. Neither of you can kill me, because without me, you won't know how to get out. He tells him, I'll kill you, Don. I'll kill you and I'll get out with these hostages. He says, and I'll escape with the printing plates. He asks him, how? He says, did Samir not tell you? Didn't he tell you he can control the power in this place? And sure enough, Samir cuts the power and Don escapes from among them. They search for him and Don tells Samir, good job, bro. All right, come meet me outside. He tells him, got it. He enters this room and reaches this box, which, before the job, his girl had taken and sent to someone in the bank. He takes what's in the box, which is diving gear. He goes to this spot, puts on the diving suit, gets in the water, swims, and comes out on the other side. At that time, Samir is packing his things, and before he closes the laptop, he sees the picture of his wife. He decides to do the right thing and calls Roma, and Don gets out, far from where the police are, and goes and finds Samir waiting for him. He tells him, I'm a genius, Samir. The plan was executed. As soon as those dogs get out, we'll go and finish them and take it from them. Suddenly, this police car pulls up in his face, and he knows that Samir betrayed him. He shoves him and goes at them with his gun. But who can he shoot at? There are too many. He surrenders. And Roma tells him, what do you think, Don? He tells her, my thoughts are your thoughts. You're lucky. She handcuffs him, and Malik tells him, where are your buddies? He tells him, check my pockets. He tells him, I'm not kidding, where are they? He tells him, fine, they're not my guys anymore. They became Vardan's guys. He's the one controlling them. He asks him, Vardan is inside? He tells him, Vardan and Jabbar are having a party inside. Good luck with them. Roma takes him away. He tells Samir, first time I ever trusted someone. He tells him, I'm not like you, Don. He tells him, and you'll never be like me, you dog. I'll escape from prison, and the first thing I'll do is finish you. And not just you, I'll finish you and your wife. They hit him, but the police separate them. At that time, Vardan speaks into the radio. Can you hear me, Malik? He says, what do you want, Vardan? He tells him, 1 hour, and I want a plane. If you don't, I'll kill 1 hostage every hour. You don't believe me? Fire Jabbar. Jabbar fires in the air, and the people start screaming. He says, you hear that? The next shot will be for real. Roma goes to Samir. Why did Don get out from among them? What happened inside? So he tells her everything that happened with Don. She goes inside to him. Malik tells him, where are the plates, Don? He tells him, did that dog Samir tell you everything? He tells him, spit it out. Where are the plates, Don? He tells him, with Vardan. She asks him, and how did you escape from them? He tells her, like the wind. She tells him, spit it out. He tells her, why should I even tell you? He tells him, the hostages are going to die inside because of you. He tells him, honestly, I'll be sad if they die, but if you want me to help you, it won't be for free. She tells him, you're shameless and despicable. He tells her, fine, get me Diwan. I think he and I can reach an agreement. They bring him to him. He tells him, look here, boss. If I go to prison, I'm taking you and your boss Fabian with me. I'm not sitting in prison alone. He tells him, shut up. There was supposed to be an agreement. I did everything I could. He tells him, I promise, this is the last request. He understands what his request is and goes out to them. He tells them he'll help us, but he wants German immunity. German officers go into him. One of them tells him, Diwan said you're going to help us. He tells him, and did he tell you that in return you'll give me immunity? Roma says, he said you'll return the printing plates. He tells her, I'll hand them to him personally because he's the one who's getting me the immunity. Roma tells him, I don't feel good about you. He tells her, on the contrary, this is the first time in my life I'm not lying. I'm even going to give you the names of the biggest drug dealers in Europe and Asia so you can get a promotion. She tells him, for real? He tells her, that's a promise. They take him out. Roma tells him, we're not going to be together. He tells her, you can't handle them without me. I'm the one who knows them best, my wildcat. She tells him, shut up or I'll finish you.
They go outside. Arjun tells her, how can you go with this dog? She tells him, mind your business and let me mind mine. He tells Don, you know if anything happens to her. He tells him, you'll do what, smart guy? Say it. He doesn't answer and leaves them. Don takes them to the place he exited from, and Vardan secures the plates. And the police go inside, disabling the bombs. And Don asks her, how did you feel when you found out I was going to help you? She tells him, your sweet talking doesn't affect me anymore. He tells her, I know, but you also need to know that I'm sick of my life as a criminal. I despise Vardan. I want to live free. All I want from you is to forgive me, Roma. The soldier tells them, you can go in. I've already disabled the bomb. She grabs the handle and he grabs her hand. Be careful. They might be watching the cameras. At that time, Jabbar calls his men. No one answers him. They know Don is in the place, so they send the men out to attack him. Poor guys, they don't know he's not alone. The fight breaks out, left and right, and this scumbag throws a grenade that's about to explode on Roma. But Don, like a total hero, dashes at full speed, slides towards it, and throws it right back at him. He beats them down brutally, and this scumbag goes for Roma. Don is keeping an eye on her and goes for the scumbag, breaking his bones. And the second one is about to kill her, but Don, again like a hero, finishes him, and he takes a bullet in his shoulder. She rushes to him frantically. He tells her, don't worry, it's nothing. Jabbar calls his men who went out. None of them answer. Vardan tells him, the bombs, detonate the bombs to scare them off. They don't know that Don disabled the last bomb. He presses the button, but nothing explodes. Jabbar grabs the radio. Malik, you hear me? Get Don here right now, or I'll finish all the hostages. It's me against the world. He grabs the radio and tells him, I'm coming for you, Jabbar. Roma tells him, I'm not leaving you. I'm coming with you. He tells her, I don't need any stupidity. She tells him, this isn't stupidity. Stupidity would be leaving you in a situation like this. Anyway, they both walk in, surrendering. He tells them, take off the vests. They take off the vests. He tells Roma, what brought you with him? You fell in love with him? Give her a gun, kid. Finish Don. She refuses to kill Don. Don tells her, kill me. Do it. Kill me. She doesn't kill him. He tells Jabbar, finish her. The bastard hits her with a bullet. She faints. Don is furious. And Vardan tells him, get up, come on, get up and put your hands up. He tells him, I swear on my mother I'm going to make you regret this, Vardan. He raises his hands and presses his watch. What is this watch? The narrator jokes, it's the Pentagon building, not a normal watch, bro. Anyway, the place explodes and he goes at the men, finishing them easily. He goes for Jabbar, drops him. Who's next? Come here, Vardan. Jabbar comes at him, but with one hit, then a second, he's on the ground. The third breaks his arm. That's it. He's disabled them both. Anyway, he goes to the people. No, don't celebrate. It's still my turn, guys. He grabs the radio. What's up, Malik? As for Vardan and Jabbar, I broke their bones for you. You guys can come in and take them. And the plates are right here with me. I'll hand them over to you just as we agreed. He tells him, all right. And the hostages? They're all fine. I've done my part. Now send me my immunity papers. And please send them with Samir. I'll hand him the printing plates. And sure enough, Samir goes into him, takes the papers from him, and pulls a gun on him. A soldier tells him, get away from him. Don tells him, shut up, kid. He tells him, I can't kill you here, Samir, but I'm destined to meet you again. And believe me, I won't show you any mercy, not you or anyone you care about. He tells him, if you're done, hand over the plates. He gives him the plates and goes out with Roma, takes her from him and tells him, don't worry, she's still alive. Take care of her. He goes to Malik and says, are the plates good? He says, they're good. He tells him, and here you go, sir, the names of the biggest drug dealers in Europe, and evidence against every single one, with audio and video. And he leaves him. Dewan tells Malik, give me the plates. Let me keep them. He takes them, and Malik goes to open the hard drive. The first video he finds,
a video of Fabian Cole, the bank president, and Singania. He's shocked and calls Dewan, and suddenly, Dewan's car explodes with him inside. The plates are ruined by the fire, and the police arrest the president of the central bank, Jimmy, and the rest of the drug dealers in Europe. As for Vardan, he goes back to prison again. And finally, Samir is living happily. And one day, this delivery guy comes to him and says, "I'm with a shipping company. Please sign here." He signs and takes the package and goes inside. He's confused. His phone rings. He says, "Who is this?" He tells him, "Don sent you a gift. Hope you like it." He's in total shock, and Don gets on his motorcycle and goes to his girlfriend. He pulls her into a hug and says, "Where is he?" She says, "He's here." He gets out of the car. Who is it? It's Samir, who was in on it all along.
And what happened was that Don told Samir, "When I get out of the bank, you'll have already called the police to arrest me." He asks him, "Why?" He says, "It's part of the plan." And as for the plates, he had already taken the original plates in his pocket and put fake ones in the bag. And when he escaped from Vardan and went to get the diving gear, there was a small box where he put the original plates and left it in the same room. As for the shipping company, they took the box, found Samir's name and address on it, and delivered it themselves right to his door. And as for Dewan's death, Don had planted a bomb in the trunk of his car, made Dewan take the fake printing plates, and blew up the car with him in it. And of course, the fake plates were destroyed. Don tells them, now the German government will make the same plates because they think the plates were destroyed in the fire. They don't know that the original plates are with us. And at the same time, I'll live my life freely. A perfect operation, guys. His girl says, "Tell me, what are you thinking of doing next?" He tells her, "All right, this is perfect. We have endless money, and I want you to remember well, it's not hard to catch Don. It's impossible." And in the end, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel to get our exciting videos. See you in the next video. Goodbye.